Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is IC. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am the host, I'm the founder of the Sit Down UK. And what is the Sit Down UK? We're a live events company, and we're all about creating and curating meaningful, powerful, impactful conversations. That's what we do. And we do live events. Corona hit, Uncle Corona came, forced us to go online. And so what we did, we said, let's continue what we've been doing, but let's just do it online. And so we've been doing this every Thursday on and off since March 2020. And so we're here again. Last week we didn't have a session, but we're back. We're a wonderful guest, and it's going to be amazing. I really want to encourage those who are joining us for the first time. Make sure, please join us, follow what we're doing. We're going to be moving back into the event space. So if you want to, you have our link in the bio, and there's a mailing list there where we're going to send you information as soon as we start up our events again, which is actually very soon. We've been having some talks with a few people. So we're going to be starting up our events. If you want to be in the know first, if you want to get tickets first, because I'm telling you, when we do our welcome back event, if the ticket's gone, they're gone. All right. So we really encourage you, click the link in the bio and join our mailing list so you can find out when the tickets go live and get your hands on some. Secondly, I was going to say, if you've never ever seen what we do, go back, go to our IGTV channel and binge on season 1, binge on season 2. Go and see all the amazing conversations that we've been able to have. A week gone before, we had EMILIE Rose, which is the sister of EMILIE Rose. So it's amazing that we can have both sisters on the platform. So today is going to be amazing. Please, if it's your first time here, let's get a number 1 in the chat function. I want to hear this is your first time. Let's get a number 1 in the comment section just to see that you're alive. And Emily, we're coming over to you. Let's get this going. Let me say hello to some people. Rochelle, how you doing? Hey, Nalympha, hey. Nanny, Miss Monique, hey.
Hi.
Emily.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm tired.
Tired. Yeah.
I had to put my daughter down. So she's been running up and down, busy, but I had work as well. But we're here.
Yeah, Daddy's doing bedtime, so.
That's why. There we go. How are you?
I'm good, really good. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm glad that you're here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Well, you know how we roll.
I do.
You got 21 questions or more. You've got 1 pass card. So if you don't want to answer a question, you can use your pass card. But like I've said, in the 58 / episodes we've only had 1 person use their pass card, which is fine. So feel free to use it if you want to. Is there anyone you want to shout out like that now?
I mean, my sister, she's the reason I'm here, so I want to shout her out, and I know she's watching. So yeah, shout out to my sister for always trailblazing for me, and obviously shout out to you for having me.
My pleasure. She said it wasn't me. Love it. Right, so we are going to, as you know, we're going to start off with our quickfire round, quickfire questions. And you said you was nervous. You don't seem nervous. You seem fine. Are you still nervous?
I'm nervous inside, but...
What's the one question that you would hate for me to ask?
I'm not so much nervous for the questions.
Okay.
It's the coming off the bat, I'm quite a controlling person. And not only controlling, if I'm not controlling, I am prepared. So this is new for me. I haven't seen these questions. I haven't had 10 conversations in my head. What am I going to say? I should say this, and I should say
Yeah.
I'm nervous about like really off the cuff.
Well, thank you for taking the chance. But we're going to love it. It's going to be amazing. All right. Your first question then is, you are what do they call you? They call you, actually, yeah, we'll get to that. But you're someone who's stylish. So, what is your favorite item in your wardrobe?
Ooh, I would say it's actually all my jewelry. I'm really lucky. Our mum, who my sister, she's a jeweler,
Oh, yes.
specializes in pearls. So this pearl necklace is just crazy. I got it when I was 30. I graduated. At first, my mum was like, don't think you're ready for it. And I said, I'm ready for it. And I love it. But all the jewelry that I've got, and that to me, jewelry is like wearing an outfit because it
Mm.
can dress up any outfit that I have on. I don't think my mum loves that much that I'd be wearing a ripped t-shirt. That's style. So, but
Is
yeah.
mum watching today?
Pardon me?
Is mum watching today?
Actually, she's not. She's at
Oh,
dinner,
cool. Okay,
but
cool.
she made me promise to come over tomorrow morning to show her how to rewatch it, and she said she would try and jump on with her friends later. So,
Oh, cool, cool. Is that your mum's pearl necklaces in the picture we used for the poster?
no, actually,
Okay,
that
okay,
did this amazing shoot for my friend Ella, who runs
okay.
the scene, and they put out all sorts of jewelry and glamorous clothing for me. So,
Come on.
their styling.
Awesome. All right, and second question, what's your most memorable holiday? Most memorable holiday?
Ooh, that's a hard one because holiday.
Mm.
Holidaying is like part of my
I
DNA.
love that.
Actually,
One,
that that's a really tough one. A really, really tough one. I don't remember when it was, but to me, we would take these family holidays every year to Venezuela.
mm,
And there's these islands called Los Roques, and it's like 200 islands, and it's like gorgeous. Then one memory, and I've got a picture of it somewhere. It's just they would take you in the morning, they would pick you up. You stay in this little B&B, and they pick you up, and you've got a cooler, and they just drop you off on this sandbank, and
okay.
they give you an umbrella, and they give you polar bear, and they make the best. This was before I was allergic to seafoods. I got
Oh,
and they'd give you just the best crab and like all these things. And I just have these amazing memories of just being, my mum, my dad, me and Coralie just like enjoying each other's company and just like being on this tiny little strip and like loving it. So yeah,
love it.
that's one of my favorite holiday moments.
I love that. I need to be there right now, actually, because man. Who, I want you to tell me who inspires you the most whenever they speak, whenever you see anything to do with them, it just galvanizes you to continue with what you're doing.
I mean, there's quite a few. I mean, there's people like Michelle Obama. Whenever I see one of her speeches or I read her book, like I really am like inspired. She may not be like in my industry per se, but I kind of really inspire to her kind of like her poise and her words. And on a marketing side, like if I'm like kind of tapping into my career,
Yeah.
Badass Boz, who is Chief Marketing Officer at Netflix.
She is amazing.
Don't know her. We have friends in common. I want to know her, but her energy and just everything, the work that she's done and just her heritage. I'm here for it. And
All the time.
I don't think she posts like even just her captions, like I can hear it. Like it really invigorates me.
Love it. Oh, good. Okay. One thing that made you smile this week.
Ooh, one thing that made me. I mean, I'm a smiler. I'm a smiler. I'm a smiler. I'm a very happy, joyful person. I would say though, Lumi. Lumi is like a constant reason for me to smile. I just look at her and I smile. Say anything, but I got her report card. I mean, she's in Montessori, right? So this is a nursery. and it was like judged on 30 things, and she was exceeding in all of them. But it was more, the teacher wrote just how kind and caring she was, how much she cares about her friends,
Wow.
make friends, and you know, she includes everyone playing, and that really made my heart smile. That's what a 4-year-old is saying.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what she's kind of ingrained from, I guess, being around yourself, being around your partner, being around her environment. She's just ingrained in that, and now it's coming out. Oh, come on. I've got a 2-year-old, and she's also very it's weird. I think she gets it from my wife, actually, because she's very welcoming to everyone. So she has like a warm aura around her. So people are always, it's not me, people always say hello to her. And yeah, they're just drawn to her. And so sometimes when I see that as well, I'm like, that's good. You go, girl. You go.
What did you see of you and her?
Oh, what do I say? Do you know what? I think recently, like when it's her birthday, she's very reserved, very shy, very doesn't even want to jump into it. And I'm the same with that. I don't know how she might have picked that up for me, but I think she doesn't like mass attention, and I'm the same. I don't like mass attention, so I guess it's rubbing off. Last time you cried.
Attention, right? That's not a bad
Say again? What did you say?
it's not a bad thing in a world where everyone wants attention.
Yeah. It's true. No, it's true. It's true. When was the last time you cried, and why?
Oh, about an hour ago. So, I mean, I cry. I cry often at an array of things. Will make me tear up. But I was had a sneaky 30 minutes before call, and I put on the Olivier Roussin, his documentary film about looking for his biological parents, and that.
Okay.
Like, just, it was just beautiful. I didn't finish it, but I got up to the bit where he like goes to the city where he was like born, to speak to the woman. He finally like opened his file to find out about his birth mom, and it was just, I mean, yeah, it's a really good watch there. I think it's called Wonder Boy. So
Wonder Boy. Okay.
it was beautiful. So yeah, that was my latest cry.
And that's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix, yeah.
Netflix, Wonder Boy. Okay, yeah. If anybody wants to watch that, you can cry with us. Biggest no, actually, I'm going to get to that question. What food do you miss from the UK?
Jamaican food and Indian food.
What Jamaican food do you like?
Jerk chicken, rice and peas, vegetable, any sort of tea, mutton curry.
Come on, bring it on.
Yeah, oxtail.
Bring it on.
Think about oxtail. Yeah, oxtail. Yeah.
I could eat that every day of the week. Every day of the week. One wish, if you had one wish right now, if I could grant you that wish, what would it be?
The COVID go away.
Oh, yeah.
Hey guys, it's gone.
There we go.
I don't know what happened, but it's gone.
That's a good wish. That is a good wish. Lastly, favorite. No, I want to ask you this actually. For you personally, I want you to complete this statement. I feel most confident when.
I feel most confident being me. Yeah, I'm confident in my skin. I am, you know, there's it's a hard one to explain. I'm not a fan, like I've never been a fan of my face per se, right? But that's never stopped me being confident, because to me it's like, this is who you are, and I'm confident in who I am. So I am most confident just being me. But I would say, like, in what scenario? Probably with my husband as well. I just always, when I'm with, I could be in any state, and he'll still be like, oh, like, you look beautiful. I'll be like, really, right now? And it's like, yeah, I can just be dressed down, dressed crazy. I mean, my fashion style is either like I get classic well, but other than that, it's just a crazy melange, and he doesn't seem to mind. Confident with my movement because I know that he just like loves me. Like anyway,
That's good. Big up to, what's his name?
Britain.
Britain. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow.
I know. We're Brittien, Brittien.
Britain. Big up to you, mate. Well, you've made it through our quickfire round. That was light work. Light work. So thank you for coming this evening. It's been a pleasure to have you.
Great. See ya. But yeah, that was easy.
Big up to everyone that's joined us for 21 Questions with Emilie Rose. We are going to delve in. So, I love that you said about your confidence and how it's just easy to be you. And I wanted to know a bit about where, for you, that came from. Especially from a childhood.
I think it was the way we were brought up, you know. My parents were very nurturing to, you know, whatever we wanted to do. Me and Corey quite, you know, different as kids in school, and it just even in our extracurricular activity. Corey did volleyball, I didn't do volleyball, anything, but they were open to it all, and it really from that age kind of, you know, let me know that you know, I just to be me, really, and that there is only one me. And I did, you know, I noticed at school, you know, personally, I had a really kind of like hard time because I really felt like a very ugly kid, but I always had like a really good body, and I was so confident in that I was like, oh, you know, I might not have the face, but I've got the body. And there was a lot, I knew there was no one else like me. And even that, it made me think even more, like, I may not be everyone's cup of tea, but I know that if I am someone's cup of tea, I'm their favorite tea. And that kind of made me feel unique and special in that way.
And what kind of age was that particular penny dropped for you?
I mean, very early on, I like, as soon as I hit puberty, I would say, you know, 13, 14, around then.
And you never lost that?
No, I never lost that. I never lost that. There's only one me. There's only one me. And that's, you know, that's something, you know, special.
You know, a few people get to, I guess, few people get to have that epiphany and keep it. They have it maybe for a moment, or it's told to them, and it takes time to like imbibe that. But for you to, it seems like it's just oozing from you, even as you're talking now, even if you know, as you do what you do, I can hear it, feel it from wherever you are, that, yeah, this is you, this is Emilie, and you take it or leave it. I love it. Your mum, she had a spot of modeling. Your dad ran away to join a circus. It's funny. And, you know, those kind of, as you spoke about, them allowing you to kind of grow, but in their own lives, they too kind of pursued what they wanted to do, and they really made something of themselves. Your dad, you know, with his sushi restaurants, your mum with the jewelry. What was it that you took as an observation from them both in the way that they pursued their dreams and the things that they wanted to do?
You know, the biggest thing is you got to work hard for it, and you got to work for it. So they were different but the same. My mum, you know, modeling and all that, then became a jewelry designer. And I remember she had, her first shop was honestly the size of a closet in Kensington, down this thing, the smallest shop. And I saw her work. She'd work every day from 10 till 6, and every Saturday. And, you know, I would see her, you know, work, and, you know, it was apparent how much work she put into it. And then I saw her go from a small shop to a slightly bigger shop.
Mad.
And then I saw her go up that road to a road that had more footpath to an even bigger shop. So that's what I saw from my mum, was sticking to one thing, learning her craft, and then continuously evolving. My mum was always on trend. She still is, with her own designs, but then who she would buy from. You know, she was a curator from the beginning. And it's one thing to be a designer, but it's also a curator is a whole different thing. So that was my mum. And then my dad was a jack of all trades. I saw him do so many jobs. Here's the definition of entrepreneur. It's stuck at the end with Feng Sushi, but yeah, you know, he was he ran away when he was 16 to join the circus. He did all sorts of jobs when I knew him, like some production jobs. He did this, like one of the Saudi kings like bought this random estate, and he like did this video of it being built. He did like one of the first ever. He worked for TWA. He just did so many like different things, and I just saw him like do them all. Some of them didn't work out, some of them did work out, but they weren't the one. And that also kind of showed me like, you got to keep going, man. You got to, like, until you find some people know their purpose from the beginning, and that's great.
Yeah, it's true.
But some people don't. And my dad didn't find his purpose until Feng Sushi, which I was well into, you know, into my late teens. But when he found it, you know, he found it. So that's what I took from them.
That's beautiful. Oh man, it's such a, you know, your family is just, it's colorful. That's all I can explain it, because it's almost like there's so many different streaks that you can look at. And even like you talked about your mom and her starting the jewelry business, but even if we were to strip that back and go back into her modeling days and all the other things, everyone has their own path and trajectory, but you're all unified as one, you know, one unit. Big up to you guys. So that's your parents. But on the 28th,
we have a special guest. You want to come say hello?
Lumi.
Come say hello.
I was, Mommy, you know why I was crying?
Why were you crying?
Because I didn't want Brad to go.
Oh, is Brad leaving tomorrow? Can you say hello?
Hey, Lumi.
Hello.
Well, I'm just, you know, he's leaving, but he'll be back soon. And give me a kiss and go back to bed. I love you.
Good night, Lumi.
Good night. Always comes and jacks something from my office, you know. Always.
She's cute.
Thank you.
She came right on time, because on the 28th of the 7th, 2017, 7:08 p.m., that girl entered this planet. And I wanted to know for you, like, tell me about the joy of Lumi.
Oh, you know, the joy of Lumi. She first of all, she was 6 days late, and and every day, pregnancy is one thing. The 9 months, it was no here nor there, right? It went quite fast, but every single day that she was late felt like a whole other pregnancy. Lumi brought so much joy, even in the delivery room. So I had managed to, and I don't know why this is a thing, but I find like I had never farted in front of my husband, boyfriend at the time. Like I'd never farted in front of him. It was like I don't know why. It's like I just didn't want to ever fart in front of him. And we were sitting in the hospital, and he's holding my hand. My best friend Monica was there, and my mum was there. And the doctor has come to tell me it's been 24 hours. Like she's in distress. Like we're gonna have to do a C-section, this, that, and the other. And I'm so exhausted. I've been holding in all these farts, and Lumi is just sitting on me. And the whole time, the doctor, I couldn't, was letting rip the whole time, and so embarrassed, and like dying. People were crying and laughing, and I was like, oh, Lumi, like she's already, like she's making this situation that should be quite scary, like hilarious, but just with her elbow like on my thing. So you know, that was her entrance, and the C-section was horrific. You know, worst situation in my life. The anesthetic wore off. You know, I was screaming at them to get their hands. I could feel their hands like in me. like, please, like, get your hands, like, out of me.
My
Like,
wife
now.
had a C-section as well.
Oh, it's just,
Wow.
it's so, the amount of trauma that I have.
Cheers.
But then, and she was like trying to compliment me, and I love my doctor, by the way. She was like, oh, you know, like, it's just really hard getting in there. Like, your abs, they're still so tight. I was like, no, Dr. Edmonds, like, compliments will get you nowhere right now. Like, get this baby out. So then I was like so drugged up. And I just remember hearing her be like, whoa, that's a hairy baby. And that was Lumi. Like, Lumi came out. Just
Really?
hair, like her whole forehead, her ears. It was the cutest thing ever. And that was, I was like, that's it. This is you girls. Straight away, we are gonna be good from now on.
Because you're hairy, I like it. Because of your hair. You're hairy, and we can do that. We can work with that.
And you came out you came out farting and hairy. God bless.
What has been some of the harder times as a parent?
Oh, I mean, you know, there are many that stood around. I mean, I think specifically when she was newborn, I was like, she was an alien to me.
Wow.
And it's that you don't know what they want.
Trust me.
It was, you know, I remember was really lucky that we had a night nurse for the first week, especially because, you know, I had the C-section. It was like hard moving around, and, you know, my mum was there, and she was like, I'll do the night. And I was like, no, because then you'll be exhausted during the day. Like, I want us both to be our best during the day. And we had a week of her, and then I remember the night nurse left, and then one day my mum was tired, and like Brisson had to like go to work, and I was left, you know, with, I mean, my mum was in the house, but I was like,
yeah, what do I do?
Like, and I got like anxiety, like, what do I do? What if she cries? And then I was anticipating her crying, and it was like just this whole thing. And the early days were really, really hard. Breastfeeding did not take for me.
Oh, don't talk about. Oh man, they make it look so easy.
Everyone's like,
just do it like this.
Just that. I've changed since then, but I was notorious for not drinking like no water at all. I couldn't get enough water in. I wasn't producing enough milk. Then I got an infection, had to go to hospital and all these things. And so her being on formula, I think she was 3 weeks old. I started formula, like that was such a hit to me. It's fine, fine. There's nothing wrong with formula, but I just really, you know, like most women, really, I was like, I already had a C-section. I was supposed to have this natural birth. Now you're taking it away.
Yeah.
So, you know, that was the start. And for me, like the biggest, it's just the times that are hard is I'm a sleeper, you know, I enjoy sleep, and we've gotten her in a good routine, but sometimes she'll have these leaps or regressions or whatever it is. And
my daughter's doing it now. That's why I'm exhausted.
For you, there's no way around it. There's no, and when I'm tired, that's when I let the darkness in. That's when I'm the weakest. That's when my immune system is down. I get sick. Like, it's all downhill. Yeah, I would say that's been the hardest.
Yeah, I feel you so much. Just a few days, like a week ago, you know, we got into a routine. She would go to bed, she'd sleep all the way through the night, and we'll wake up and we'll do what we need to do. And then she wants to wake up in the middle of the night, and I'm like, okay, are you okay? Maybe it's your teething, but kept on happening. And now she will not sleep in the bed. So I have to find different ways to let her know, yeah, I'm still here. You can go to sleep. She goes to sleep. I run to my bed, sleep for maybe an hour. Then but just like you said, it's all passing. And I think in my mind, what I try to do is think, when she's 16, she's not going to be doing this.
No, she's going to be sleeping after. I'm going to be the best. I'm going to be We're sleeping till 12 today. Fantastic.
So I just fast forward my mind to say, look, don't wait. It's going to pass. And 16 is coming.
Yeah, no, that.
You and your sister, it's so funny. I did not even know you two are sisters until I was researching her, and then I found out about Tropical Rose. I was like, huh? I was like, oh my god, you have a sister. But your bond just seems so beautiful, and you're able to do separate things, but again in unison. And I wanted you to talk about that. What has it been like having a sister from childhood and then sharing that in adulthood?
Oh, I mean, it's the best having a sibling and having a sibling like her. You know, the age gap was quite big. We got 4.5 years. That
Okay.
felt quite big when we were in school in terms of, again, like life, what we were into, what we were doing. But you know, we'd have so much fun on holidays together. And you know, as we got into the teen years, like, you know, same thing. We just enjoyed the holidays and the time that we would get together. And then, like, you know, some of her friends, their little brothers, sisters were like my friends. So there was a lot more hanging. But I think one of the best moments is when it was right before I just remember it because it was right before I found out when I was there that I'd gotten that job, Hip Hop Candy, and we were going to Belize. So my mom was like, I'm going on this health farm. Like, one of my clients has this place in Belize. And we were like, oh, that's great. Da, da, da. And then, like, she lost her passport or something. And she was like, will you guys join me? And we were like, of course we will. And so we're always used to traveling. Yeah. And we have stayed in some crazy places, like developing countries, like really sketcheroo places. But we stayed in this one hotel in Miami. It was a murder hotel. Like, it was the scariest hotel in the middle of nowhere. So that set the tone of that thing. Like, you know, you got your sister there. Like, she was like my big sister. She was protecting me. But that trip, we did our PADI certification, our scuba diving certification. And that set the scene as well for the next 20 years
Wow.
of sisterhood, friendship, because now it meant we were buddies underwater too. Like, you got me, I got you. If something goes wrong, as always, like in life, you got me, I got you.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, literally, the person's life is in your hands if
Yeah,
you need.
definitely.
And you know, it means that everywhere we've been since, we go diving together, and that's me and her that do it, and it's a beautiful moment, and only me and her, you know. And sometimes we'll cheat, like once she went diving without me and I went diving without her, and this feels really
It was
weird.
weird.
It was really weird. It was really weird. But so I feel very, very fortunate. I feel really fortunate. And obviously, you know, living in LA, it's, you know, I'm in London right now. I've been here for a few months, and it's been so amazing being here and spending proper time with her and Laser, because other times we see each other on holiday, or when I come back to London, it's not usually a holiday, right? I'm coming back to London. So it's always nice when we meet on holiday, because then we're both relaxed. Because when I come back to London, like, she's working, so it's not you know, a holiday for her. So it's like, it's been really great having this much time here, and I was here for 2 months at Christmas as well. So we got on some like great times. Like, even yesterday we went to the gym together. Like, we've never done that. It was just like, we're in the gym together. This feels like so weird. Like, it felt so good. Like, this was my sister, and like, she picked me up when we went to the gym. Like, something that's so normal, but we haven't had for 13 years.
Wow. Pick up your sister. So that sister love it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Or is she? I don't know if she's texting me to tell me something in my face, or maybe to stop moving my arms as much. I don't
Is
know
that
what
what she said?
she's saying. No, I don't know. I can't read it. I'm too scared to exit out of here. Probably if you're still on here, like,
Tell us, Corinne, what should she
I'm
do?
like locked in. Is it the arm, Coralie? You can tell me.
I wanted to ask you. You both was it both of you that attended French Lizzie? Let's see, how do you say it?
Elisa Rossi? Yeah.
Why do you think your parents sent you there? And what were some of the amazing moments? Tell us about that school. Um,
So, I mean, I kind of know why they sent us there. You know, my parents were never wealthy. They were incredible hard workers. Really hard workers, and sometimes they couldn't make the school fees. But the beauty of the French school is it's subsidized by the French government. So they were essentially
okay.
us to
looks funny. But everyone has joined us.
Okay.
If someone...
Yeah, you were doing the really that. So yeah, it's essentially going to a private school, you know, in London. Plus, my mum obviously, you know, was French speaking, spoke to us primarily in French. It was just the best decision they ever made. They really wanted us to soak that in. That school was the most amazing opportunity, the most amazing education. You know, I didn't necessarily know at the time. I was quite resentful the first few years because it was very hard for me because everything was in French. So when you go to French school, everything is in French. Writing, geography, maths. And, you know, at 4, and I'd been predominantly, you know, speaking English. So it was hard for me. It was like hard for me, and I wasn't that good. Yes, baby.
Mommy, I farted.
Oh my gosh, baby, you farted? Okay.
We know, Lumi, like, this is what you do.
Right.
This is...
Here's the baby. Okay, don't bring it back. So I found it really hard, and I had a really, and I still do, I've got a really English accent when I speak French. I used to be made fun of, you know, like the French kids would just like make fun of me like constantly. Like it didn't feel good at first, and my accent got more and more British. Actually, people were like, "Why is your accent so like pronounced?" It's because I was so angry at the French as well. There was a bit of me so angry to be in this French school. Obviously, that passed. One of my teachers was like, "Well, what does she like doing?" My mum was like, "She likes riding," so she was like, "Send her to this French riding camp," and then I would go there in the summers, and I was immersed, and I was like, you know, I felt more confident about my accent and whatnot. But you know, the lycée was the best. I met people just from every walk of life. There was no really active religion being, you know, practiced there. Like if you wanted to do Christianity, it was like a separate thing. So it was like across the border, just a melting pot. And it really, you know, it taught me so much. And I now still have friends all over the world, and so many school friends. And yeah, we still keep in touch, and I love them dearly. And, you know, it's the best having international friends like that.
Yeah, I can imagine. Any country you go to, you know someone there.
Definitely.
I said any country that you go to, you probably know someone there in some capacity. Yeah. 17th of June, 2018. Where were you?
17th
of June. This is one day after my birthday in 2018. Emily, come on, don't fail me now. You're getting married, yes.
Oh, that's so terrible. Me and my husband just missed our anniversary, but luckily we both missed it. It was like a few days later, and I found my wedding dress, and I was like, and I normally wear my wedding dress at every anniversary.
Oh.
Yeah, we were getting married.
You got married in Malibu. What has the last 3 years taught you about marriage?
That it's wonderful. It's the best. You know, listen, also, I hate being one of those people that like, oh, everything's perfect. It's a lot of work. It's so much work. So much meat in the middle, but yeah, it is a lot of work, but it's so wonderful. Like, I love being married to him. Like, I absolutely love being married to him. He's just such an incredible husband, such an incredible father. And yeah, every day I'm just like, oh, like even when he pisses me off, I've got a real good and he pisses me off. But yeah, marriage has been good. And you know, COVID, again, very fortunate that I've gotten to spend the best part of a year and a half, you know, cooped up with my little family. Yeah. And, you know, we learned a lot about each other, a lot more, but it's just been like so nice, like so nice.
We got Great Britain.
Yeah.
Let's talk about LA. There's a quote here I'm going to read, something that you said in an interview. You said, you know, talking about moving to LA, I'd had loads of haters in London because I looked urban but spoke posh. I would get sent to all these auditions and they'd ask me to change my accent to be more street. And I wanted to ask you that before you move into LA, what was the last straw? What was the last straw for you that said, you know what, I'm out of here?
Yeah, just that, just the just the, you know, the disrespect. You know, I was, again, it goes back to the competence. I was just being like, you know, 100% unapologetically me. You know, I did this show and whatnot, and you know, people were bringing me into these auditions because you've seen me in this show, but yet you're asking to change my voice.
Okay.
And not only that, like, I just find that like extremely like kind of like racist, that you think that there's only like, you know, there's a stereotype that urban has to speak street, or like vice versa, like just that whole thing of, oh, you speak so eloquent, like, am I not supposed to speak? You know, like, so, you know, that was like the last straw for me, really, is like, I didn't feel understood. And I honestly, I didn't feel valued, like I didn't feel valued out here. And then I would go on trips to America, you know, I'd go into the 7-Eleven and I'd say, hey, can I please have a water? And like the whole time, oh my God, have you heard her accent? Where are you from? And I felt so embraced. I felt so like, wow, like they like me for my accent. They like me for my voice. Like what, you know, like I want to, you know, let me go where I'm
Appreciate it. Yeah. When you was on the MTV Hip Hop Candy, what were some of the things that you learned about yourself, like through that whole, you know, experience?
I mean, so I got a little bit of PTSD from that show too.
Oh, really?
The girls are horrible to me.
Oh, man.
I mean, not horrible, I shouldn't say that, because like we're all grown women now, right? I mean, it's not that I've spoken to any of them. Like, I same thing. I think everyone underestimated that I would go there and I'd book every job we went for. And it wasn't quite the same for everyone else. And I think as soon as that starts happening, then, you know, people who were your friends suddenly aren't, because, you know, this, that, and the other. So in that, I did really learn that, like, okay, like anything I put my mind to, yeah. And what's really interested is I rewatched, I work on this other project and I like finding all this like footage of myself, and I rewatched a like 5-minute excerpt from that show.
Is that the one you sent me?
Yeah.
Outcast, yeah.
Yeah. I keep saying, you know, I really want to make it big in America, and like Big Boy was like, I think she'll make it big in America. And at the time, you know, I didn't think as a video model, but I thought it was going to be in the presenting world. And now when I look back, I'm like, well, I did make it big in America. Like, I've come to America and I've got the most incredible job and incredible family and all that. Like, I made it in America, just not the way I thought. So that's, I guess, you know, that's something to take from it. But yeah, I just learned that yeah, girls are catty, and that I'm a pussy.
You know, you said you did say in that clip a lot, I will make it in America, I'll make it in America. And even the director, Dave Meyers, at the time, he said exactly these words. He said, she's got the look, she's got the energy, she's got the spirit. And that, you know, that transcends being a vixen or being a video model. That's just, if you just take that statement, you can see how that has manifested and just come so true. Like you said, you have an amazing job. You've been with Adidas for 13 years and 6 months. That's correct. I wanted to ask, you work for the mighty Free Strike. Why? Why Adidas? Because there's so many others. You could have, especially
No, shout out to Paula Latang.
Oh, wow. She's amazing.
So when I was doing, like, after Hip Hop Candy, and I did this show for Channel 4, and I was doing some stuff, and you know, they were the old school. No, in the Wheeler. They were the old school EIM, the team that I joined, but UK, and they would invite me into the office. And this, you remember, there was no Instagram and all that. It was just like people on the street, as in like, you know, the original tastemakers. And Paolo was always just, you know, so kind and like, you know, would have me in and da da da. And I was a walking billboard for them. I still am. And then I remember when I wanted to go to America, I went there and I was waiting for my entertainment visa. And about 2 weeks, I kept going on holiday to LA. And then I was like in LA for 3 months, kind of living there. And after 2 weeks, I was like, yo, like, this is really boring. And like, no, I wasn't allowed to work. So I wasn't allowed to go to any auditions because all my paperwork was being done. And I had some savings. So I was like, you know what, I should go and intern somewhere. So I'm busy. And, you know, I was speaking to Paola and she was like, well, why don't you, kind of like you've been to the office, our office, you kind of know what we do. Why don't you, you know, interview with the LA team? So she sent me there and, you know, I interviewed.
Oh, she's just joined. Paola just joined.
Oh, my God, Paola, your ears must have been reading. Your ears must have been burning. So yeah, the Paola is telling all about, you know, how I got into the Adidas world. So yeah. Sent me the info for Tracy and Alice at EIM, who are still there as well. Wow. And you know, I went for an interview, and I started as an intern. And you know, after a few weeks, they were like, like, you know, we don't want you to be an intern. And I was like, oh my God, like why? Like what have I done? And they're like, no, we'll offer you a job. Like, you get a visa, you can work here officially. Like once that's set. And at the time, I was like, yeah, cool. I'll probably like be doing the presenting thing, but that would be great. And you know. 13.5 years later, still there.
What for you typifies being a cultural disruptor? Someone who really looks at the culture and sees how it can be put forward, but also changed in different ways. What was it that you then brought to Adidas that made you feel, you know, a cultural disruptor?
I think I brought my relationships. I think that was one of the biggest things, you know, over the years, I had really made really good relationships with, you know, people that I had interviewed or just friends of mine that I had met. And I think, you know, bringing in relationships and bringing in facilitating certain, like, you know, like seedings or like, oh, you want to send it to that person? Like, let me, say, or like for some reason I've always known people, and I'll know like really really random people, and then I'll know like through really sometimes the boyfriends, the girlfriends, or it's the management. And it was another thing that I learned as well, like, you know, people always think it's like celebrities that that will put you on, but it's rarely celebrities that can put you on for whatever reason, because everything has to go by the management. So you have to make relationships with the management, you have to make a relationship with the people at the label. My friend group has always been that as well. So I think that's what, you know, I came to the table with.
And how was it? Was that something that you felt facilitated the Rita Ora and kind of collaboration, that having that relationship?
Yeah. So actually, the first collab that came was Pusha T.
Oh, cool. With the trainer?
With the trainer. Yeah. So Terrance, you know, I've known him since I'm 17, so over half my life. And
you've got to how did that even happen?
Oh, we went to an NERD show, and he was there too, and we all had similar friends. My friend Philip Leeds as well used to work for NERD at the time, and they were playing, I want to say like the Shepherd's Bush Empire or like the Hammersmith Apollo or something. And yeah, the Clips were there, and we were just all the same friend group, and we all just stayed, you know, friends. And we still are. You know, I went to his wedding a few years back, and it was like so funny seeing like Chad and everyone. Like everyone, like we were all old, man. We're all old now, but looking good. We're all looking good. But I think Pusha was like the first one that was like in that realm that I was like, like, you know, he is just, I mean, obviously his career, you know, nothing stands up against him. He's like a legacy rapper as well. Like, and, you know, I, at the time, the head of EIM, you know, John Wexler, you know, we talk a lot about Pusha and this, that, and the other, and there was an opportunity that came up, and, you know, just kind of like, you know, connected the dots. And by connecting the dots, I got to work on that project. And that was really, really incredible for me, because it was like the first time like working on a full project 360 all the way from the beginning to the end, not just like doing gifting or seeding or like doing this stuff, and, you know, working with my friend, and then getting to travel with him, and just like, you know, getting to come up with really fucking cool ideas with him, you know. And I never knew, you know, it was only afterwards that I realized like he like carved out that seat at the table, you know. It's like I almost like built the table, because I built the, like, hey, come in here, come into this conference room, where I essentially probably wouldn't have had a seat at the own you know, conference room that I brought him into, if you see, like, not
about him.
And like he was like, no, 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 like, here's your seat. And it was just like, oh, like, wow, like, okay, you've actually given me a seat on your
Mad.
And, you know, it's just fun when you work with friends, because you can just also like, you know, there's a lot of layers to when you do things, right? Approvals and this and that. But when you're like homies with someone, you kind of like know them. It's like, cool, is this cool? Yeah, okay, cool. Do I need to like run it by Stephen? Yes, no. That, like we got so much done, and we had so much fun. Like we had so much fun. And the shoe, I mean, it did better than it like sold out in under a minute. It was like ridiculous, the white Christmases that it did, and we had such a fun activation in New York. So like that was the first one, and then it went into the Rita thing. You know, same thing. There was a one for a female, you know, female designer, and I've been friends with Rita for years, and like everyone in the office, like she was already like known, but before her being known, I was always talking about my friend Rita, really saying she's time to Rock Nation, she's the next, I promise you, she's the next. Like, okay, again. And then when this thing came around, I was like, what about Rita? Oh. So anyway, that materialized itself, you know, that got handed over to like, you know, the people that need to make those deals, you know, the connection has been done. Everyone else go and, you know, do what you guys need to do to make this happen. But then again, that was just, I was just so incredibly proud of her. So incredibly proud of her sister, who's part of her management team. And getting to, you know, again, work with like some of my closest friends. Like those are like my girls. Like whenever Rita would come in town recording, like she would like stay with me, like she could stay in a hotel, but it was like, no, like, you know, we're homies. And I always got like a piece of London as well. So for me, it was like, oh, like I'm getting like my best friend like here, you know. And we got to travel. That was the other thing. And I'm not gonna lie, selfishly, so because she was based in London, sometimes I used to have to fly back to London for design meetings, and that was really cool, because then I got to go home. So it was just like, you know, like, so where are we doing the next design meeting in London? Perfect. I'll be in London. And then I go home, and I remember when we did the activation, like that was a real homecoming for me, because it was like in that the club, what's it called? Is it called Aquarium? Westbourne Grove, like next to the skate ramp. Anyway, classic Subterranea.
Okay, I know that.
And like it was there, and it was just, you know, that whole collaboration. It took me. We did this whole stuff in Asia. We went from Japan to Korea to China.
Crazy.
Crazy travel, crazy.
And for you, like, what is it that gives you a buzz about doing these? You know, because obviously there's working with your friends, but in terms of the product that you're actually creating, what is it that gives you that buzz, that when you see that final product, you're like, yes, people are going to love this?
I mean, just it's it's the accumulation of one knowing how much has been put into it. You know, how many emails, texts, design meetings, especially, you know, with specifically to the Rita and the Pusha stuff, and that, you know, like all the time, like, yeah, you are like still working with friends, which can also be a hindrance, right? Working with friends, it can get awkward at times. And then there's other people that might be jealous of that, or like think that you're trying to get your thing across by using your friendship, you know, that it, then when you see it, like you actually see it like come out, and it's always way later than you'll work on it, right? So you've almost forgotten about it, because like you're onto the next, and then it like comes out, and it's like, you just see every single
Sweat and
minute,
tear,
every single minute that you put into it, whether it was a good or bad minute, like that's all I see.
yeah. Have you got pieces of them at home? Do you keep?
Hell yeah. There's white Christmases in a box, all of the Pusha trainers in a box, and all of the Rita stuff. Yeah, I've got it all nicely wrapped up in storage. You know, I don't even want to wear it.
Yeah.
At this point, because it means so much.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, definitely.
In your work, seems to also be, and it's funny because your work and Coralie's work, they cross section in different ways, especially when it comes to representation. And you know, I asked her in her interview about the importance of representation, but I want to ask you as well, in the work that you do, how important is it for you, whether it is race, whether it is body, whether it is culturally, how important is representation, putting that at the forefront, that people are able to see it?
I mean, it's one of the most important things for me. You know, sadly, it's taken a very long time for it to get where it is. Comfortable with the representation. You know, I was never aware that, you know, it goes to a thing, if you got blinders on or you're not looking for something and then someone shows it to you, like, and it was only when people started complaining about being the only woman in a room and the only black woman at that I was suddenly like started being like looking back and realizing like, wow, like I was in these big boy rooms, man. It's true. Like it was all like white men pushing his team and me, the only woman most of the time. And at the time, because I wasn't thinking representation was important, but to me, I thought like, well, we're representing what we're doing with the culture. So like to the consumer, it's the representation is there, because but to the people doing it wasn't there. And that's changed over the years. Like, you know, thankfully, I still, you know, still underrepresented in a big way. But you know, when I started with my current team a few years ago, you know, we were 3 black women, and that was awesome. You know, I've never had that. So at least I always had 2 other black people on a call. When you see all the boxes, it's like at least it wasn't just me. Like now, there's 2 of us. So that's pretty cool within the company. But yeah, you know, representation is extremely important, and it's extremely important across the border, like you said. It's not just race, it's religion, it's sexual orientation, it's body types, it's, you know, people who are less able, who have disabilities. You know, it's all of it. It's like people from other countries as well. It's like language representation. Just think that actually sometimes as English speakers, we are just so like there's a universal language, and and that's another thing that I think that sometimes we don't represent for people from other countries.
Yeah, and it's funny, you know, you talked about your love for traveling. That element there, that discrimination comes up so much, where we who are English go to another country that have their own culture, own language, but demand we speak to somebody who speaks English. Can I speak to somebody does anybody speak English? No, nobody does speak English there. So it's either you need to adapt and learn how to, you know, communicate, or don't go there.
You know what I will say is those damn Parisians. I am fluent in French. I may have a bit of an accent, but I am a French speaker. And whenever I go to Paris, I'll speak French and they'll reply to me in English. Like I'm not good. Yeah, it's so rude. Just because Parisians are rude, and I love them for it. Like I love Parisians just for the audacity of that. Like, I'm fluent. You are not fluent in English, but you're taking it upon yourself to reply to me in English because my French is like not good enough.
Just to remind you that. Lastly, I wanted to ask you about legacy, and legacy because there's certain things that we do in this world that will outlive us. But while we're doing it, we will never realize it. We're just doing what we do or doing what we love to do, but they will outlive us. And I was wondering, do you ever think, oh, what I'm doing now is going to leave a legacy, whether it's for your daughter, whether it's for another community? Do you ever think of legacy, or are you more of a moment person, and what you're doing now is for here and for now?
No, I definitely feel for legacy, and I think that's what a lot of motherhood is, right? Is that you kind of like building your legacy, you know, for your kid, and like making sure it's the right side of your legacy, right? Make sure. But even, you know, that there's a lot of stuff that I haven't done yet that I do want to do, like you know, I'm from the Congo. I think Corey's spoken about it as well. We're from the Congo. Like we need to do some stuff out there. Like that we have to bring our light there. There has to be something. My friend Shaka, you know, he's going there in a few weeks to build an orphanage. I always donate to that. But I would love one day to like physically go, like physically be there, and like maybe like leave a legacy that like my ancestors would also be proud of, and not just what's coming next, like the people who were before me, and for that to be part of my legacy.
Come on. Your last question is, and you may not have one, but your last question is, do you have a question for me?
I do.
Oh, you do? How come? Oh, yeah. Man. Okay. Now I'm nervous.
And I don't know if they're still on here, but I saw a few people from my team on here, my team who I love so much. And we have a weekly team meeting, and we will always start with a question. Because it like just, you know, gets us like, right. This is one that I asked, and so I'm going to ask it to you.
Okay.
If you were allowed to get the wardrobe from any TV show, past or present,
oh my gosh,
what would it be?
Goodness me. The wardrobe from any TV show. Oh my goodness me. Wow. Any TV show.
Like, stumped.
Give me some examples.
Do you see what it's like when you don't get the questions before? Do you understand that pressure right now? Do you get it?
Oh my gosh. Okay, let me try and think of a favorite TV show that I haven't really watched TV. Oh man, I don't know. What did you pick?
So
Wow.
I went one step further. I was like, let me add hair and makeup in. I would take the hair and makeup from Euphoria.
Okay.
And then for my body type, I think Marvelous Miss Mabel.
Okay.
Which was kind of classic, like, and so I think for my body type, that would be the wardrobe that I'd go for.
Do you know what? JK, Julia, actually, Different World was actually sticking in my mind. Of like the bell bottoms, the afro, the waistcoats. That might be mine. No, not Different World. Was it Different Strokes? That's it. Different strokes it takes. Nah, nobody knows it.
Dang it.
Well, that's a good question. Thank you for that question. That's one to definitely think about.
That's what I do.
That's what you do.
What
Emily,
I do. There you go. You got
thank
the
you. Thank you so much for your time this evening, man. I really, really appreciate it.
Having me.
You're doing amazing things, and keep, you said it in the beginning, but keep being you, man, because you being you is bringing so much to the world, to the boardroom, to your tables, to culture, to your daughter, to your husband. You, and knowing who you are, and confidently bringing that person into any room, it's doing amazing things. So you and your family, I call you the rainbow. I'm going to call you the rainbow family because it's just colourful. It's amazing. So
kind. Thank you.
so
Really.
Thank you for joining us.
I've been reading the messages. Thank you for all the lovely, messages and for taking part in this. And yeah, I take it all in, and I feel incredibly grateful to even have had, yeah, I do have Congolese roots. I do. I proud.